Calaroga Shark Media.
Johnny Mac's got a bad cold. The COVID test was negative, but as you can hear, my voice does not exist. I think if I talk from the front of my mouth, I'll be able to make it through here. Anthony Jeselnik is in a little bit of a war now with Joe Rogan. In the newest special, Jeselnik has a joke that says, "I like Joe, but if you listen to his podcast, you're an effing loser." Rogan retweeted a clip with Jeselnik telling the joke and wrote, "Hands up if you're a loser." I watched the special. I made it 7 minutes in, and I just thought it was, I don't want to use the word bad. I just didn't care. It wasn't doing anything for me. It's just like, here's a premise, and now I say something twisted and dark over and over and over and over and over. Like, I get that's what the act is, but it's tired. 7 minutes I made it into that one. The Daily Beast dusted off some background on the Rogan versus Anthony battle here. Jeselnik was on Theo Von's podcast back in 2023. The Daily Beast writes, Jeselnik pushes back on comedians who believe they should be able to say whatever they want. He said, "That's wrong as far as I'm concerned. People think as a comic, their job is to get in trouble, but they don't want to get yelled at. It's okay to make people mad, but they don't want any pushback. If you put out a special and everyone's ticked, you didn't get away with it. You need to make everyone laugh. That's art. Otherwise, you're just a troll." In the special, Jeselnik addresses cancel culture and said, "Comedians are supposed to be unparalleled badasses. I know this because I have an effing mirror." Towards the end of the hour, spoilers, Jeselnik says, "Guys, don't get me wrong. I like Joe. Joe's my friend. Joe's a good guy. But if you listen to his podcast, you're an effing loser." Back in 2019, Jeselnik told the Last Laugh podcast, "I want to be the type of villain that the other villains are afraid of. We live in a world now where there are very real villains. I'm a comedian. People get mad at me, but I make people laugh for a living. There are way worse people out there that you should be upset with, and I like that I might make those people afraid." Cracked asked Jeselnik about Tony Hinchcliffe. They were curious. Say, "Anthony, did you watch that joke?" And say, "I know how to make that joke work." Jeselnik said, "I never would have put myself in that position. Firstly, on either side, a political rally at MSG. It was the wrong joke to tell. I don't have a problem with the joke. And listen, I love Puerto Rico. I've given money to Puerto Rico for earthquakes and hurricanes. I didn't find it distasteful. It was like, I get what you're doing, but they're constituents. You're trying to get them to vote for you. What are you doing?" And that was my big takeaway. You're roasting the wrong things. If I had been hired by Donald Trump to do that, I would have roasted his opponents. I would have roasted states who's definitely going to lose that we could all laugh at. This is not crazy talk by Jeselnik at all. I think he just misjudged his audience, and that was his greatest sin. I think the joke is fine. I don't think it's a good joke, but I'm not as upset about it as some people were, unless you put it in the context of the opening of a last-minute political rally. That, of course, didn't change anything. Cracked. If your audience is more conservative, do you worry that they're enjoying your jokes but not in the way you intend? Jeselnik, sometimes it doesn't really matter to me. I have one joke where I say I'm against cancel culture and the audience cheers. I think they're playing along. I think they know that I'm making fun of people who say that they're going to cheer because that's what a hack comedy audience would cheer for. Sometimes I think they're cheering because they know what's about to happen. I rarely think they're cheering because, yeah, he's on our side, because they know I'm going to pull out the rug from them. If they're coming to buy a ticket, they're like, I'm happy to have the rug pulled out from underneath me. My audience is smart enough not to have to agree with everything I say to themselves. Anthony, have you lost any showbiz jobs because of your material? Jeselnik said, I was always surprised that I was able to get on TV at all with the 5 minutes jokes that I tell. I was doing my act to try to audition, have somebody hire me to write for them. I never thought I'd be a stand-up of this magnitude just because I thought they're not going to let me on TV with this. And this was before Netflix. It was like, could you get on Conan? Can you get on Premium Blend? And I wasn't sure in the beginning. I also watched James Acaster's special, and by watched, I mean stared at it for 8 minutes wondering, what are you even trying to do here? I'm just bewildered. I get the premise that people were allowed to heckle him, but maybe then if that's the premise you're selling, maybe have somebody heckle in those first 8 minutes? Wow. I mean, I didn't like Jeselnik's special at all, but at least I get it. Acaster, I didn't get it all. Neither one of them will make my end of the year list. I'd rather watch an Adam Sandler comedy, to be honest. Vulture spoke to Acaster. Their question, if you could conceive of a version of stand-up where there was no audience, what would yours look like? Acaster said, when Bo Burnham did Inside, I think every stand-up had the thought of, oh, shoot, he's done the thing a lot of us have been thinking throughout our careers. Wouldn't it be great if I could do this without them here? But then you're like, at what point is that not stand-up anymore? I love that special. I think it's an incredible achievement and will be remembered for generations. It's such an amazing time capsule, and it was the perfect thing to do during lockdown, but in many ways, it's the first ever YouTuber comedy special. That was his origin, and he utilized that, and that's what I thought he was so amazing at. I think the answer I've landed on, and someone will do this at some point, is the other way around. There's no comedian, but there's an audience. So you go to the ABBA voyage route of having a hologram. I went to see ABBA, and I got a jacket there, and originally in the show, I'd wear it on stage and not reference it. Someone will do it someday. I'll be very jealous of that person if I'm not the one who's done it. I probably won't be, because the admin alone seems like a nightmare. but you'd be able to do multiple shows a day sitting at home somewhere and get on with your life. That sounds pretty sweet. And that is going to be my inspiration for what we're going to do here. You hear my voice? It's gone. I have a new tool that I haven't taken out of the toolbox yet. So in the spirit of what James Acaster just did, I'm going to take the break, and I'll deal you straight. When we come back from the break, it's going to be AI Johnny Mac. I will write the words, but I'm going to have my new AI avatar voice it because I sound like crap, okay? So I'm not trying to trick you. I'm not trying to lie to you. I will write the words. The AI will voice everything after the commercial break. And it's a holiday weekend. What better time to experiment than right now when I have the excuse of I sound like crap and my voice hurts and I've got the technology and it's a holiday weekend. So when we come back, AI Johnny Mac with more. Joel Kim Booster opened up to the 800-pound gorilla about crafting his new special. He's focused on creating a cohesive through line to elevate it beyond just an hour of jokes. He's currently working with directors to refine the show's structure. He prefers smaller venues that allow direct audience connection and crowd work, saying he'd rather look the audience in the eye than perform in 3,000-seat theaters. While respecting peers who thrive in larger venues like the Greek Theater, Booster maintains he's really content exactly where I am. Patton Oswalt's comic book series Minor Threats is expanding with a new anthology. Welcome to Twilight City will bring in major creators including Matt Fraction, Brian Michael Bendis, Michael Allred, and Gene Ha for a 4-issue Dark Horse series in 2025. This next one is fun. Brooklyn Cat Café's monthly Zoomies comedy show features adoptable cats roaming free and occasionally heckling during stand-up sets. At a recent show, a gray kitten named Pebbles became the breakout star, interrupting comics with sassy meows from the back of the room. Comics quickly learned cats make unpredictable audience members. The lineup, including host Marty Cunny and comedians like Allison Levy and Natasha Vainblatt, had to dodge cats storming the stage, starting fights, crashing into audience members, and attacking the mic cord. The best sets embraced the chaos, making Pebbles' antics a running bit. While lacking traditional comedy club amenities, the scrappy show delivers laughs along with the chance to meet adoptable pets. Attendees are encouraged to pet and play with cats during the show, though Maeve Dunnigan told the Dodo the experience may leave you feeling satisfied and covered in cat hair. The show runs first Fridays at Brooklyn Cat Café. Pebbles is still seeking her forever home. Adopt, don't shop. Wayne Knight, you know him as Newman from Seinfeld, reports his 110-pound weight loss has hurt his acting career. He told TMZ, "It takes time for people to accept you as you are, and then they find out whether or not you can still do things without being fat." Knight shed the weight since his 1993 Jurassic Park role through various methods, including therapy, drugs, surgery, exercise, and radiation. When asked if he lost weight the old-fashioned way, he said, "What do you mean? Like not eating? Yes, that does work." And that is your comedy news for today. If you're a human with no voice, feel better, and remember, resistance is futile. See you tomorrow.